everyone, my name is Upnishad and with me Tal has joined again. So today we will be discussing the fifth and sixth sutra of Upnishad in our series of uh, Isha Upnishad. And welcome Tal again, and we will start with our verses. So here there are two verses, verses 6 and verses 7 of Sutra 6 or Sutra 7. Essentially, both of the sutras are similar as they kind of differ in the not in the not on the senses of understanding, or however in the senses of English. Like they are these sutras are the same thing. They are pointing towards same thing. So, Tal, would you like to read it for our audience?
Certainly, he who sees all beings in the self and the self in all beings, he never turns away from it, the self. 7. He who perceives all beings in the self as the self, for him, how can there be delusion or grief when he sees this oneness everywhere?
It's I think kind of agree with this quote. And what do you need? Do you need to tell me what do
It
you
seems
mean?
like he's saying that the absolute, the self, it exists in all beings, whether it's any animal or person. It exists inside all of them. And if a person sees that, then he will never turn away from the absolute.
It means like he who perceive all beings as the self. For him, how can there be disillusion or grief when you see this oneness everywhere? The question is not about seeing. The question is not about knowing. The question is not about witnessing. It means like there was a Hindu god called Hanuman. You know Hanuman,
Hanuman.
and he kind of says as the devotee of Lord Rama in Hindu mythology. So it has been. I am talking these things in the context of this post, this quote or this sutra. It was thought, it was said in this in the holy scriptures that Hanumana was kind of cursed in his childhood, so he forgotten all his superpowers he had. Like he can fly in the air, he can increase or decrease his size, he can shape shift, he has many possible capabilities. But due to his mischiefs or due to something, he has been cursed in his childhood, and the curse by like that you will forget all your powers unless you are reminded.
That's what he said.
So when he was, so he grew like a normal, other normal person that time. However, when he was helping Ram to search for his wife Sita, who has the Ravan had abducted her from their asylum.
Exactly. Her
So he
and
was
flew
helping,
away.
and there was the Lord of the bears. You know bear, polar bear and black bear. Yeah, Nakon.
I understand.
So the
So
Lord
the
of
bear came and
Bears, yeah, so has reminded Hanuman his powers that he can fly, he can jump miles, thousands of miles in one go. He was not knowing these things, so he reminded him. Then Hanuman reminded his powers. He utilized those powers and jumped the Indian Ocean and get into Sri Lanka and found his wife, Ram's wife over there. This is the story, and I'm not saying it was right or wrong, but this is the story. And this story, the gravity point which we have taken, if somebody has reminded that person, and thereafter he discovers. Yes, here this quote is saying,
that's how he
the,
gave hope to Sita. He
yeah.
gave hope to Sita
No, we are not
showing.
going to this discussion. We are not going to discussion. What I want to bring it out here is just this thing that somebody has reminded Hanuman about his superpowers. Then Hanuman become cognizant about his powers, and he used them
Yes.
to do his deeds. So here
Hmm.
the speaker is saying, or the writer is saying, that the one who perceive all being as the self, for him, how can there be delusion of grief? It so what I started with the thing is not about having the perception of self, all the self in me, and I am in all the self. It's it's not about your collective identity. It's not about your collective conscience. It's not that thing. The absolute is not that thing that everybody is there and I am in everybody. This is harmonical also. This is for fraternity. This is for brotherhood. But this is not for the journey which the person is questing for. If this is the case, then why Buddha has to leave his own kingdom and went into the mountains, or to seek a asylum which is in a quiet place to know himself? Why can't he go to the market or in a busy place and sit down there and concentrate to know why he is why he need the loneliness to discover himself out?
That's the question.
So the perception is not about knowing the self in you, all the self in you, and you are in the all the self. Just for a moment, let's take this thing. Then let accept this analogy. And okay, you know now that you are in the all in you. How this thing is changing your life. It may make you more conscious. It may make you more sympathetic. It may make you more like caring about the other. But it is not the thing which is pushing you, which is igniting something which you don't know about it. You at least care about your family. You at least care about your close relatives. If you assume this world is my family and I am their son, then you will surely care about all those things. This is what the social workers do. This is what the Americans and the other Europeans are doing in South Africa. They are doing the humanity. They are extending their sphere of the careness. They want to care for everyone, no matter if life is good for them or death for good for them. It's no matter. They just want to give them what they have. They have taken the life is good for them. Like for me, PhD is a good thing. For my other friends, they want to do civil services. Civil services is good for them. If we two sit together and argue over this point, look, come and do PhD, will be good for you. This is no point of discussion, I think at least.
Yeah,
So
because it's different.
this thing, perceiving all in being as a self and self in all being, he never turns away from it, the self. Oh my God, the speaker is not totally aware of what he's talking about. I'm surely sure he don't know the notion of self. Self does not come from collectiveness. Self is not inclusiveness itself. Self is nothing. What I will say that this quote is essentially talking about this mere body, the connection of this mere body.
Yeah, the body.
I am telling you one thing. When the world has started, when this life on this planet has started, might have started with one or two or three beings. There were very less beings. So there was no more beings. There was less. There was not many beings. So there won't be no like there was maybe little bit of people, a person, not very big like we have say 0.8 billion or 8 billion people now on this planet. So the number of cells was very less. Should I say that time the people were enlightened? They were animal. So it's not about the
Yeah,
number. It's not even about knowing. Even once you know, the number does not exist anymore. It will not be about many and one. It will not be about one and many. It is nothing. Once you will know, there is that absolute. Essentially, the notion of absolute will fall down. The absolute is still the absolute is until the moment is there. You don't know the absolute. Once you know the absolute is not there. You know you are a tal. Yes.
yeah,
When you are inside a room, Do you always remind yourself, I am Tal, I am Tal? Do you need to remind yourself that you are Tal? No. Nobody asks you. You don't care about yourself. Even somebody asks you, who are you? Then you say, I am Tal. Till that moment, you are not bothered. Because this, the thing is not changing anything in your spectrum of life. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Hmm.
This is what I think, and you can add in from your side by the time. Let's make life simpler. Let's read this explanation. Can you read for our audience?
Yes. He who perceives the self everywhere never shrinks from anything, because through his higher consciousness he feels united with all life. When a man sees God in all beings, and all beings in God, and also God dwelling in his own soul, how can he hate any living thing? Grief and delusion rest upon a belief in diversity, which leads to competition and all forms of selfishness. With the realization of oneness, the sense of diversity vanishes, and the cause of misery is removed.
Even when the good thing about these things, they are aware about the future and they have predicted the future kind of. So they in that time when this Upanishad was written, there was not many religions. For pretty sure there was no Christianity, there was no Islam.
Correct.
There might be Hinduism. There even that time there was no Hinduism. Even they are talking about that this delusion will create the discrimination, distinction, and then discrimination among others. Like being Hindu, I am distincting myself from being Jew. Yeah, upon
As an identity, yeah.
as an identity. So once we will live in the same community, there has to be friction. Then the discrimination by itself comes into the picture. Yes, yes.
Yes, because we're separating.
So distinction causing the discrimination. So the speaker want to say, do not discriminate. Do not, in order to not to discriminate, you need not to identify. You need not to identify this is different and this is me. It means that you have to identify one thing: all is me and me is all.
Hmm.
And earlier in the other quotes, they are saying, leave the notion of me, leave the notion of I. It's the ego thing. It is not leading you to the right direction. Yes, Nakhon, you remember? So this is kind of again contradictory. So, but maybe here the writer meaning not that me, like here that me means the idea of I being superior. So once you know everything is you, there is nothing to comparison. So the idea of superior is not holding. Yes, yes.
A person won't put himself superior to others. Like it's very famous that certain people said, "We are the master race. We are higher than everyone else."
Who is saying this thing?
Um, well, it was very famous in the story of Nazi. They say about themselves, "We are the master
No, like
race."
we say like we say humans are greater. Humans are the greatest species over all the species on this planet. They say like this. Yes,
Yeah, like we're
greatest in
superior.
the terms of many things. So this they who is claiming the humans? If there was a committee where was a member from dogs, where was a member from cows, where was a representative of birds, where is a
It might,
representative of ocean life, where there is a representative of microbial life. No, how the hell you can take the lone decision and claim yourself as superior?
mhm.
If you are superior self, how the corona is heckling you?
Although there are differences, like we
No, they
can
can
make.
say like what I agree. I could agree on my ground. In all of the species on this planet, the most corrupt, the most selfish is the human. On this point, I am agree.
Hmm.
You never see an animal who is storing the food for tomorrow. Maybe for tomorrow, it is not for a long run. You will never see a animal who is corrupting, who is betraying to other person. other kind of their self. You will never see an animal who is asking their children to do some religion. You will never see a world is pointing bars or pointing fingers on others. Yeah, Nakhon?
Uh, well, I read that the lions they eat their own children sometimes. Like they
Because
they
that's why for them, if you have love, then you are bringing hate. You see,
mm,
if you have some gratitude, then you will also have the antonym of gratitude, which is kind of, I don't know now, maybe for some time I am forgetting it. So like the distinction is made by the humans. The animals as such don't have any discussion, like distinction. For them, their survival is fittest. They are there for surviving. First, they make sure even when you go on a helicopter, when a plane, there is a announcement: help yourself before helping other. Yes, if you
in the
can help.
plane, your own mask before.
Yeah.
Help
So
yourself.
there are some species of animals who ate their own babies because the number of offspring they produce is huge. If all the offsprings will come into the life or they survive, there will be a disbalance. So it's an engineer kind of a nature. You see, this is why they ate. It's not about they are apathetic about the lives. They don't know the notion of apathy. They don't even know the notion of sympathy. For them is one thing: the fittest will survive. What the Darwin says. Yeah. Everybody wants to make sure his presence on this planet for as longer as they can. Yeah, Nakhon. So this is the race. Like, what is problem in that? Why there is a moral ground of morality? There is no ground of morality in animals. That's why we say them animals. If somebody don't have the grounds of morality, we say that guy is animal. Yeah, Nakhon.
Yeah, we try to insult them and say you are as low as the animals.
But who knows animals like let's say in the family of animals or in the life of animals there is no ground of morality.
Correct. They don't have teachings
they
about
they
morality.
don't know what is morality and what is like they don't know morality, they also don't know dishonesty, they also don't know the rape, they also don't know the thief and the corruption, they don't know anything.
They
They are
just do.
as simple as they can be. They are as original as they could be.
Mhm. Their
For me,
actions.
animal is the good thing.
They just take whatever food they see to survive, and whatever children they have for survive. That's their purpose and their activities.
Yeah. So this is it, and this code.
That's it.
I'm coming back to this code. He who perceive all being as a self, for him, how can there be delusion? What is the meaning of delusion in a simple sense
Of the word grief.
of the word delusion?
Oh, delusion is like uh, you imagine something is real, but it's not.
How it is different from illusion?
Um, it's like illusion is something that you really see, but it tricks you, and delusion is something which is not real, but you think it's real.
When he see this oneness everywhere.
Like if something is impossible, then we call it a delusion.
Okay, I see. So
But an illusion is like if I draw a picture and it appears to be three-dimensional, then it's an illusion. I really see it, but it's only two-dimensional. That's what it
uh,
is.
you are fairly quite clear. So this is about this quote, and I think what I think I have told in my earlier statements. So yes, this is it. So here we can close this sutra, and